Welcome to this new lesson on editing and adding text to your Photoshop projects. So I've gone ahead and created a new document, just 2000 by 2000 pixels with a white background. To get to your text editor or text tool, just go to this T or press the T on your keyboard for that shortcut. Up above, you'll see your basic options for text, including your font style, your points or the font size. You got your basic paragraph settings and color, and a couple other ones we'll look at in just a minute. You might not have these fonts that I'm using, so feel free to follow along with any font that you have. Open Sans is one of my favorite fonts. You can download it online for free. It's a nice clean font, so I'm going to go ahead and use that and use bold. So what happens when you use the text tool? If you click, Photoshop is going to add some temporary text, which is white on our white background, which we can't see. So I'm going to change my font color or my text color to black, which is that button right there. Lorem ipsum is just a sort of temporary text that you'll see all over the place, as sort of a like I said, temporary text to add. So what you'll want to do is select that, which I did by pressing Command A, Control A on a PC, and then typing in, here is some text. So you'll notice that this text is now centered to where I clicked, and that's because the paragraph settings up here are set to center. You have more options, which we saw earlier in the class, character and paragraph panels. So in your character panel, you have all of your different options. Now, what happens when I try to change this? Nothing, and that's because this text is not selected. So if we select part of this text, some of this text, and then we adjust it, it's just going to adjust what is highlighted. So if you're trying to adjust all of your text, you're going to want to select all of it. We can type in a new font size. We can now adjust it. You can adjust the size. You can adjust the line spacing. So let's go ahead and add another line. Here is another line. Now to move your text, the best thing to do is either hold the Command button down just to be able to briefly move it around, or you can go back to your Move tool and move it around. If you're in the text tool though and you press the Command button, that's nice because it's kind of like that spacebar button for switching over to the hand move tool. It's just temporary and you'll get back to your text tool as soon as you let go of Command. Again, Control on a PC. So now we can have this text and we can adjust it. So if we select all of it, we can adjust the line spacing, the leading, the kerning, which is the space between the letters. All of that is here. So if we want to add some space in between our letters, we can make our text increase the scale of our font. So this is kind of creating a custom font with the width or the height. Set that back to 100. You can change the baseline shift, meaning where the bottom of the text lies with this option here. And then you have your sort of faux styles here. So you have bold, italics. I'm already on all caps. That's why you see that my text is in all caps right here. You have small caps, which will make it all caps, but the actual letters that you capitalize on your keyboard using the Shift button will be a larger capitalization compared to the rest. You have a superscript, subscript, underlining, strike through, all of these kinds of things. Now, you'll notice though that I have a faux bold, and then in our font settings, we have multiple versions of this font. So I actually have an extra bold, a light style here, which will give you more options for this text than this just simple bolding right here. This is kind of a quick, easy way to add bolding to your text, but I would definitely recommend using the font style over here if you want to make your font bold or italics, if you have that option, because some fonts don't have multiple versions like this one does. Now, you'll also notice something that is happening if I'm in my Move tool. If I have the Move tool and I just select this entire text layer, then if I make adjustments to any of these properties, it will actually make a change to the text layer. And even if I go back to my text tool and I just have my entire layer selected, it will still make changes to our text entire layer. But if we click onto our text and we're just clicked somewhere and we're trying to make a change, it doesn't affect it. So if you're kind of like editing your text and you're like, oh, I'm trying to adjust these settings, but it's not working, just understand that if you are in your text tool and you're actually clicked into your text layer, these won't affect it unless you click out and you click the layer over here or go to your Move tool and then make your adjustments. We also have our paragraph settings. So under this paragraph tab, you have more options than if you're just in the text layer up here. So you can left align, center, right align. You can indent with all these. You can indent just the first line of a paragraph. Now, this brings up another kind of thing that is good to know. How do you create a block of text? So let me just delete this layer. To create a block of text, what you want to do is with your text tool, click and drag and create a box. So now this is going to create a box of text, and you can see it inserts this temporary text, and now you have all of these options for different paragraph styles. We can make this smaller. It'll continue to fill in with more text. So here, let's make this a little bit more easy to see. So now you can see that there's a lot more options here. You can indent the first line here with this option. If you have multiple paragraphs, you can indent the first paragraph or the last paragraph down here with these settings. You can hyphenate words with this hyphenate button. So a lot of options for editing your paragraphs here. To adjust the size of the box after the fact, you have to be in the text tool. So say I'm in my Move tool and I'm like, oh, I want to make this bigger. Nope, that's not going to happen. It's going to actually make the entire text bigger, but not the text box. So go into your text tool, click in your text box, and now you have the bounding box edges, the handles that you can adjust. So that's a good introduction to the text tool. In the next lessons, we'll be diving deeper into some specific types of text you might want to create and different options you have, like curving your text and aligning text to different shapes and things like that. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.